Welcome back to another video. Today we are in the Halloween Cup in the Great League, and we're going to be trying out the Toxapex paired with the Raticate and the Greninja in the back. So unfortunately, we got the Venusaur here to deal with, kind of a cord breaker. We are going to have to stay in for now. We're going to apply the pressure here with the Sludge Wave. Let's see if they end up shielding and letting this go. They decide to shield it. Okay. Our opponent does elect to throw another move. We're going to shield here just so that we can preserve the health and then switch into our own Raticate. Raticate is going to have to tank a move. Frenzy Plant does get revealed. They come back in here with the Azumarill. We're going to fire off this Hyper Fang here, doing some good damage. And then you can see they are going to reach a move right before we get to another Hyper Fang. Ice Beam does get revealed. We're going to come back in here with the Toxapex. Going to be able to wall this Azumarill's moves. We're going to fire off the Sludge Wave, take out the Azumarill, and then we're going to go back into our Greninja versus this Venusaur. Venusaur is going to have to use a shield. We do get the Nice Slash to go off. No boost, unfortunately. We're going to have to shield here, and at this point, we are going to have to throw a move before they get to another move. Nice Slash does get used, and then we have energy here to throw another Hydro Cannon. This is going to be huge damage. We get it into the yellow. We're going to switch out and force them to use some energy. They have to throw Earthquake here. Stone Edge also works, but it allows us to get to another move. Hydro Cannon is going to KO, and our opponent realizes that. So GG's to our opponent, able to win that game off of a bad lead. Or actually, we actually had a decent one. They used their Venusaur as a switch and right, so we were able to maintain the alignment and on to the next game. So we got the Gyarados here to deal with. This is kind of unfortunate because they are going to be able to debuff us, but we have to stay in for now. We're going to fire off this Brine. This Brine does some decent neutral damage, but now you can see they're going to be ramping up with their Trailblaze. Luckily, we could survive that one Trailblaze. Oh, we do get a shield out of this situation. Our opponent does elect to use the shield and go for another Trailblaze, so we're going to, get another Trailblaze to go through. They're triple buffed now. Brine does get used. We at least get it into the low red. We're going to fire off the Greninja and get a little bit of energy advantage. We see the Azu. Hydro Cannon does get used before they get to another move. We're going to use another Hydro Cannon to get it into the yellow at least. So, job well done by the Greninja. Honestly, it's done its job. We are going to shield here so that we can get additional damage to go through, potentially. And we at least get it into the low red, so maybe we can farm down with something. We're going to use our Raticate here, but they have their own Greninja, so double water in the back. It's going to be pretty tough to beat. We are going to catch a move here. This move is going to use up some energy. We're going to go for this front bait. We do got that last shield and it allows us to get to this Hyper Fang here. This is going to KO. And then, unfortunately for them, we are going to be able to farm it down for the win. So GG's to our opponent, able to win that game with the Raticate. Raticate ended up being clutch at the end right there. And our opponent barely misses out on the W. Play of the game was probably the catch onto the Toxapex. Okay, here we go. We got the Toxapex versus the Greninja. Our opponent is going to be able to fire off a Nice Slash, this neutral damage. They are going to be able to get to 2 Nice Slashes before we get to a Sludge Wave. So, moment of truth. Do we get the shield or do we get the KO here? We go for the Brine bait. They actually call it, and now they are allowed to get to several Nice Flashes. They are going to get to another Nice Slashers to get us into the low red. Now we're going to have to use a move to take them out. Nice play by that Greninja. We're going to switch out here into the Raticate. We see the Wheezing lurking in the back. We're going to fire off a Hyper Fang here. They do end up shielding it, and that is troublesome for us. We call the bait and we do call the Brutal Swing, so that's really good for us. We're going to shield the play rough. Now we're back to relatively even. Okay, they're going to go for this Hyper Fang. we're going to be able to fire off another one here. Even though these Hyper Fangs are only neutral, they're still chunking away at a Cloxar. Cloxar, very tanky. They decided to reveal their moves. Sludge Bomb does get revealed, and now we know what moveset they're running. We can take a Sludge Bomb, so that's exactly what we do. We see the Weezing come back in. We're going to fire off a Nice Slash bait. We do grab that shield. Our opponent does fire off a move immediately. We have to shield this, unfortunately. We're going to have to use a Hydro here. This is going to take out the Weezing. And now it comes down to, do we get to a move? Yes, we do. Another move. Reach barely at the last moment. Nice Slash does get used to take out the Cloxar. So GG's to our opponent. Able to win that game with the Greninja at the end. Taking out the Weezing, taking out the Cloxar. All right, next game. Let's see if we can get some wins. So we're going to stay in here with the Toxapex versus this Shadow Sizer. This is going to be an interesting matchup here, as we don't really want to see this Pokemon in the back. We see that they go for the Trailblaze boost. We go for the Brine. They do an early shield. Interesting. They shield up the Brine. That certainly was not going to take them out, but they definitely want to try to ramp up their Sizer here. We're going to fire off another Brine. It does grab that second shield, and now we have a decision. Are we going to allow this to go down or switch in or shield it up? But our opponent does go for the Trailblaze. It does take out our Toxapex, and then we're going to come back in here with the Raticate. Raticate is basically just trying to soak up all this damage. They go for a Nice Slash right here, and we are able to tank it, allowing us to get to this Crunch. This Crunch is going to take out this Sizer, and down goes our biggest threat. We're going to come back in here with the Greninja. They have the Toxapex in the back, so pretty big tank in the back. Trying to fish out a boost. Right now, Nice Slashes are only things we can go for. We're going to shield that Brine because we think that they don't want to see this Greninja in the back. We go for another Nice Slash. It doesn't get the boost. And this next Nice Slash sure will get it into the low yellow. But you can see right here, they're going to be able to reach a move. Even a Brine should get us really low. So we're going to switch out here. And they have the Mandibuzz. So they have really, really tanky Pokemon in the back. The Toxapex that we had on our side wasn't necessarily a core breaker for their backline, but they did want to break down shields and take out our tank. So Hyper Fang here gets it into the yellow, trying to get this in a range of something, but too much bulk in the back is not going to be good for us here. GG's to our opponents. Going for the Arrow Ace right there to take out our Greninja. Yeah, it was just a matter of bulk. They had so much bulk in the back. We really didn't have much bulk outside of the front line, so we were able to unable to wiggle out of that situation. All right, we're going to switch on into Raticate here. We do bait out the Fairy type, so that's the good news. We are going to fire off a Hyper Fang here, able to reach another one, so this is going to get the KO or it's going to get the shield, so that is fantastic news. Now we're going to come back in here with the Toxapex, able to farm down. We can tank any and all the moves. Swift does get used, some good neutral damage for them. They are going to reach another Swift here, so we are going to tank that. And we do get the farm down that we wanted. Now we see the Rummerdam come back in. We're going to have to come in to shield Greninja, try to win this matchup. We do shield here so that we can preserve the health of this Greninja. And they're staying in for now, interesting enough. So Hydro Cannon does get revealed. They decide to shield, and they definitely don't want to see this Greninja in the back now. What do we think is in the back? Ooh, Hydro Cannon goes through, and they realize it is GG. So well played by us. Check out this team if you haven't already, and let us know if you enjoyed the video.